That's an interesting question. I suppose it matters on I guess it depends on the specific way that some buildings are designed. I don't know whether the exhaust from one room in one condo would go into the exhaust or would be filtered into the room of another person. In hospitals, for example, that air is filtered before it goes anywhere back into the hospital, generally speaking, or goes straight out into the outside world. I think overall, it's very unlikely you're going to get COVID from living in a condo simply because it's passed through the vents. On top of that, it's unlikely that most of COVID transmission occurs through aerosolization. It's usually just large droplets due to sneezing or coughing or breathing or talking. So so I think it's based on the design of condos and based on the fact that COVID does not aerosolize effectively. I think it's very low risk. If there was a lot of transmission, we would see many outbreaks occurring in congregate settings or even non-congregate settings like a condo across the world. But we're not seeing that, even in places where COVID is very common. So I think it's generally safe to live in the condo. And the same principles would apply when in an elevator, keep distance, when going out, wash your hands, all the same kind of principles. I think it generally makes sense to continue wearing a mask when you're in an elevator because you're not able to distance. Elevator buttons comes up as a common question. That's going to be very low risk. Uh, Again, if you're using the same principles of washing your hands, you're not going to be at much risk by touching those elevator buttons as long as you're not touching your face right afterwards. We should try to minimize the number of people in an elevator. It's very challenging in condos where there's limitations there, but that would be the goal: is try not to crowd an elevator.